music, but that's okay. Hello again, and welcome to another episode of the Fun Fans Podcast. I'm your host, James Dillard. With me for the second time again, because Bailey is tied up at a baseball game at Clover, South Carolina, is Coach Bill Owens and his son, Zach. How are you guys doing this evening?
Good. Doing good.
Yeah, we're excited. Appreciate these guys hopping on. We're going to talk about a couple of things real quick. Some important information, though, and we'll get to that real here in just a second. But first, the Fun Fans are a proud part of the Fanboys Fangirls Sports Podcasting Network. If you're a true sports fan, the Fanboys Fangirls is perfect for you. Find various nationwide podcasts and other sports media at thefanboys.com and on all forms of social media. The Fun Fans Podcast is the official podcast for Clemson fans. And we love to eat at Reuben's Food, Sports, Spirits, and Catering, the best wings around, with 2 locations in the upstate, 1083 Batesville Road in Greer and 11028 Anderson Road in Piedmont, South Carolina. Find them at ReubensC.com. It is simply a great place to eat for sports fans. All right, the first topic tonight, I'm going to debrief kind of some stuff that's going on, and then the three of us will just share our opinion, because this is what a lot of the sports talking heads have been talking about. But recently, Dartmouth basketball team voted to unionize. That kind of getting a little ahead of themselves, but we can talk about that in a minute. The National Labor Relations Board recognized and defined college athletes as employees a few months ago, but this is all, that part's all held up in court. And the NLRB is notably, what should be noted is it's an independent federal agency. It's not like a governing body of all schools. It only has any jurisdiction with private institutions. So what does all this mean? The definition of college athletes being employees is expected to go all the way to the Supreme Court. And this is interesting. Doing my little bit of research, this isn't the first time this come up. In 2015, the NLRB blocked a vote by Northwestern's football players to unionize. Do you remember that, Coach?
I do remember something about that, but don't remember the results.
Yeah, that it wasn't a thing back then. You would have think that had been some kind of big news, and it probably was, but it was short-lived because it was before NIL and all this kind of stuff. So, one thing that folks are thinking is that athletes wouldn't really be employees of the school, but maybe, if this comes to fruition, they might be employees of the conference, and that would make a little difference in stuff. And they could have contracts and all this kind of stuff. So if athletes were to be employees, and we'll get everybody's perspective, Coach, what do you think that would happen? What would be a major, let's say is there a pro and a con, in your opinion, to college athletes being employees?
Well, there's several different perspectives there. One, I look at it as a fan, and I think college football is so much fun to watch. The pageantry, going to college basketball game, baseball game, and when you start paying employees, it changes, or paying them to play, it changes a lot of aspects. There's so many questions that nobody knows the answers to, like all these guys that are opting out of going and playing in bowl games or postseason events. Do they get paid at the end only if they fulfill their contract? And I'm kind of like Coach Sweeney when all this started. He was all for players getting paid, but let's just start a minor league the way baseball, I think, has done it right. They've got AAA, they got AA, they got single A, and if you want to get paid to play, you go there and play. I think they've opened Pandora's box, and they can't close it.
Actually, that might be what we're heading to. They're talking about the SEC and the Big Ten turning into 2 big super conferences, and essentially that'll just be like minor league football. Yeah. But I agree with the only good thing to me, Zach, I want to tell all the young people, you got to be careful what you ask for. I mean, everybody minding Coach Owens' age trying to not be employees anymore, and all these youngins running around trying to be employees. It's like, y'all need to calm down. But, one good thing would be because supposedly, what would theoretically happen is, like you said, if they're employees, they would have obligations and requirements. So all this opting out stuff would go out the window. It might slow down some of the transfer portal stuff. The kids would actually sign 2 or 3 year contracts. So, that might go away. And which, supposedly I say that as a pro, but that could be a con, for some folks. So
yeah, I just hope ticket prices don't go up. It's already expensive enough to try to go to a game, buy a hot dog and a Coke,
Yeah, that's the truth. So, and I guess the reason they want to do it is because to kind of balance out the money, try to let everybody on the team at least get a, somewhat of a salary. But I just don't know. Right. I think there are too many cons than pros. It takes away the amateur status for sure. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of how would that, how would that change recruiting? If you think about recruiting specifically, can you imagine? You want to come play for me, or you want to come work for me?
Well, that's the thing. Do you set a baseline where every kid in Division I makes, if every player makes the same amount of money, and all those guys, people don't understand, all those guys are getting money now. They're getting stipends, they're getting their food money. They're not, there's none of them going without money.
That's right.
And so it's, it just, they really just got to figure it out. Plus I don't know, it kind of takes the whole pageant, the whole fun of college ball out. When they're an employee, they're not playing for the true love of the game. They're playing because they make money. And then, are you going to require them to go to class? Because if I'm getting paid and I'm getting paid to play, why do I need to go to class? Are they going to drop the requirements now? You got to take it, I think, at least 12 hours if you're undergrad, and 9 as a graduate, something like that. Don't know exactly. But, what are they going to do with that? Because those guys are going to be making, who knows, $250,000, $500,000 a year, more than
the academic portion of it's like nobody brings that up. That's hardly even a thing.
Yeah. And that's what I hate for the kids to lose, is the opportunity to get a degree, because the knee goes out, shoulder goes out, and sports are going to end for them one day, no matter what.
That's right.
And they got to be left with being employable. Not everybody go to work for ESPN, right?
That's right. Just some lucky folks. Is that do you have a job somewhere, Zach?
No.
No, you don't. You're not an employee yet. So,
not yet.
I'm telling you, somebody is talking to these kids. They're probably making money themselves. Some agent, some company, and I think they're biting off something that they don't realize that they're getting into. But I think it would definitely, if they're going to do this, they do need to go to the super conference. But my wish would be is the other schools would kind of go back to the old way. So it have some good old fashioned, you're having to get paid under the table and kind of football.
It's always gone on.
Yeah. And let the other schools, and whether Clemson's grouped in with one or the other, I guess at least we would know where we stand, but let the other schools that have all this, it's going to create a have and have not. People think they're doing something that's fair and across the board, but it really just turns into more, it increases the gap between the have and have nots. And people don't realize that, but
right.
Anyway, they're definitely jumping the gun, forming a union. They want to form a union, and they're not employees yet. So I thought that was kind of odd, but we'll see what happens there. And that brings up a whole nother, there's some states, you go state by state, and the labor laws are different.
Right.
So it's
well, then you also got fringe benefits have got to be paid. And do they pay into state retirement? I'd like for all the South Carolina athletes in public schools, public universities, to pay into state retirement. That'd be awesome.
There we go.
And to pay into Social Security, so, maybe there are some pluses to it.
Yeah. See, it's what his youngest don't realize. As an employee, everybody wants to take your money. You ain't going to see but about 65% of it. So
there you go. Welcome to the real world.
Yeah. Good luck with that. All right, but what needs no luck, right, is our Clemson basketball team tonight. And this is where I know Zach's got something to say about that. Clemson tips off at 9:30 here in about 45 minutes against Boston College. We got that first round bye. Boston College, they're tired, right? What do you think it's going to take for Clemson to win tonight, Zach?
Put PJ Hall in the paint.
It's it. It's like run the ball, right? That's like fans in football game saying run the ball. Put him in the paint. He rarely misses
threes too. So I mean,
he rarely misses down low, right? And if he's hot, he can hit the three. And that's
if he does miss, he gets fouled.
He's good at getting fouled. So what if that's always the answer? I think no matter what, but we'll get on a run of shooting 3-pointers, and it seems like we get addicted whether we're making them or missing them sometimes. So hopefully they'll remember to get it to PJ in the paint. What about, did you watch Boston College play against their other game?
I did not watch that game.
So they're pretty scrappy. You talking about fouls? There could definitely be some fouls going on tonight. I just think that it's going to be like the whole season has been. If we're hitting our shots, we're going to probably win the game. If we're hitting our shots and they're not, we'll probably win by a good margin. But if we're not hitting our shots and they're hitting theirs, that's you live by the three, die by the three. Seems like what's been going on this season. So anything else? I mean,
to me, they got to win turnover battle. The close games I've seen them lose, they've had some horrendous turnovers down the stretch.
That's true.
Just take care of the ball. Don't fumble the ball away, right?
Don't fumble. That's right. It's a lot like football. The one thing I'm thinking about, so some folks have been not happy with the team and they win some and lose some, and we should be better. I'm thinking maybe Brownell has put together a better tournament team, because the past couple of years, even though we're not making, like we went to the NIT and got beaten to, I think, first round. There's something about college basketball. You don't have to win all the games in the season, but if you have a good tournament team and there's just something different, I don't know what it is. This is where we miss Bailey. He probably could tell us about the big difference in a good tournament team and a regular season team. But maybe this year we've got a good tournament team. And if we don't, we just like every other year.
It's going to be over really quick for a lot of people, I'm afraid.
Yeah. So y'all going to stay up and watch the game?
A little bit of it.
Yeah, very little.
Well, either way, we'll definitely be pulling for Clemson, and we're excited about, the weekend of basketball and then getting into the big dance. A couple of other things just to point out, and I'm sure you guys have been watching. Me and Bailey are getting excited about the UFL. Some spring football is coming. We picked a team to pull for, and I picked the Houston Roughnecks. I mean, how can you not pull for a team called the Roughnecks? And Bailey picked the Arlington Renegades, and they play April 21st. So we've got that date on our calendar. Just want to let all the fun fans know, I sent an email to the people that joined our bracket last year. We're going to put a link to once the NCAA tournament is out there, we're going to have a bracket, and the winner of our bracket will be we'll get a sample pack of Dubbies. So that'll be the winner, the prize for the winner this year. So that's going to be fun. That was fun last year. And that's open. If you got the email, share it with your friends. If you see the link, share it, and just throw some teams in there. It'll be something to keep up with, and that'll be fun. And Clemson's spring football game is April 6th. Y'all thinking about going to that?
Probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be sometimes it's kind of cold. You never know. But it feels like football at the spring game. And it's definitely fun to see them play, because they kind of go at it, other than the ones wearing the green pennies at that game. So that was pretty cool. So, all right, that's it for tonight. We'll tell Bailey that it took two people to take his place. And hey, I want to give a shout out to Bailey. And I don't know if I was supposed to know this, but I saw it on social media. We all came back from the conference this week in Charleston, and Bailey was chosen as 5A Athletic Director of the Year.
Oh.
in the state of South Carolina. So shout out
Awesome.
to the Fun Fans host, Caty Jackson, and his much deserved accomplishment. That's where he's working right now at a Clover baseball game. But we hope everybody enjoyed the show. We appreciate Coach Owens and Zach coming on here and joining us. And we appreciate everybody listening. We're sorry we missed our show on Sunday. Too much traffic getting down to Charleston, but we'll be back this coming Sunday with a brand new show and all the recap of the ACC basketball and all the other sports. But for tonight, on behalf of the Fun Fans Podcast, J Thriller Entertainment, the Fanboys Fangirls Podcast Network, and the Owens family.
See you guys. Thank you again for having us on.
Appreciate it. Thanks for listening.